Hey guys, what's up? Thought I'd come at you with another live stream tonight. Well, actually, it's real early in the morning. Hopefully, you guys can hear me here. Yeah, we got a few things going on here, guys. Let's do this first. Make sure I get. Really want to get. Yeah. Good to see you, Della. Oh goodness. Let's yeah, we got some earthquake activity going on, guys. We're gonna take a look at that. So let's see here. Let me I'm gonna grab that. Where the lights are at? There it is. Okay. Yeah, guys, it ain't just little ones right now, guys. We got some, well, this one, look at this, guys. It's going crazy right now. I don't know, look. I mean, we've got sixes going off all over the planet. So I really just don't know what's happening right now. I'm not an earthquake expert by no means. But please, I mean, look at this, guys. These red dots here are just now happening. So I don't know what's happening. I mean, and look at this. If we go here, we can start over. I was looking at this earlier. I was already setting up a live stream anyway. But when I seen this, I kind of just stopped and kind of started doing different things here. Because this isn't just in one area. This is, guys, this is all over the planet. And with that being said, yeah. So, you know, where do we go from there? Who knows? But let me do this real quick. This live chat thing is driving me up the wall. Let's see if I can't. I'm going to shut that off for a minute. And then I'll go back to that. Let's pop that back out again. See if I can't. Tell you what I need to do is I really need to drag that off. I should have done that. As soon as I go here, it's going to go away. Yep. That's what I thought. Yeah. I'll tell you what. Okay, we'll just do it this way. Hold on. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to pull it up on my phone. There's too much action going on. I don't want to sit here and just waste everybody's time. I really hope you guys are having a good weekend. But this is, we don't often see a rash of 6+ earthquakes go off across the planet. We are not talking about just one location. We are talking about, I mean, from one side to the other. And north and south. It's not even like, it's not clustering. This is something that is, and we're getting some solar weather, so I don't know if it's actually coming from that, if that was just the straw that broke the camel's back, or what. But yeah, I mean, we got this going on right now, and yeah. So we're gonna take a look at it here, okay? Let's see what I can do here real quick. I need to, I'm trying to pull up my chat, guys. Sorry about that. Want to make sure I can talk to you guys here a little bit. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. And I was looking at that, Roy. If it was, you know, if we got hit by a CME there a little bit, yes, that could help cause all this. But just to be honest with you, a CME typically is not going to trigger 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 earthquakes, 6+ across the planet within, you know, a 2-hour period. Because that's the time frame we're looking at here, guys. We're looking at in 2 hours across the planet. So this is something that probably Again, yes, space weather could have given us a good smacking, and we're going to look at that here in a minute. I got some stuff here I was going to show you guys anyway, and it's actually kind of pertains to all this that's going on. But before we do that, I do want to look at some of these bigger ones real quick because, well, I don't like that. You guys see that over there? That, yeah, I don't like that. That little tsunami box is not something that you really want to see. There is no tsunami warnings, which is good. A lot of times they won't even put that box there if there's no chance. Anybody that looks at this stuff probably knows what I'm talking about here. But, and they're not even, they got that at a 6.6. Now, again, for those that don't know, when we're talking about, hold on a minute. Goodness, I'm going to X out of that. Yeah, when we're talking about these, when they fire these off and they start entering the data into USGS, there's a default depth that they use. You guys see the 10 kilometers up here? That right there that's a default number. So we don't know how deep those are yet. All these that just popped off. So, but we can kind of try to take a guess at how deep they are, because typically if they're closer to the surface, you will see more shaking, and you'll see more reports of people feeling it and all that kind of thing. So, let's go back to the first one here when it first started happening. And again, we got this one. It was right here in Indonesia. That's the first one that I noticed, because that was actually over a 6 for a minute. And then obviously, just in true fashion, like they always do, they'll drop it down a couple points. And that is a big deal, guys. I mean, they shouldn't do that. If you guys go look at like the European agencies and stuff, if anybody's ever listened to Dutch Sense at all, he'll be the first to tell you. He shows people how to like look at that. They'll throw out the high number and the low number, and try to figure out what's actually, how hard it actually hit. But with this all happening right here, right now, you go from this at 20. That's about 10 p.m. UTC right there. Then you go up to the one in Chile. Now remember, guys, that one down there in Chile, that was, just a few days ago, we were looking at, big ones there already. So that's going on, guys. So, and then you go over here, there's Vanuatu. I mean, come on, guys. Are you guys recognizing these names? We're talking volcanic stuff there. That is something that, that was a big story last year on some of the quakes, because there was, some eruptions and stuff going on over there. And then last week, well, about 3 or 4, probably 13, 14 days ago, I guess now, there was a rash of 3 of them right in here, right in the Indonesian area, just north of Australia, and pushing up close to the Philippines, and the one was really, really deep. It was like 267 kilometers deep, but it was the strongest one. It was a 7. I'm calling it a 7. I think they finally officially named it like a 6.9 or something. But when they're that deep and they're shaking that hard, you don't really feel a whole lot at the surface at that time, but all that energy gets transferred out, and it will cause bigger ones at the surface. And Dutch has a graph that they use, and it upticks, and it shows you what we could expect after something like that. But, I didn't expect to see this tonight, just so everybody knows. Yeah, so there is something, there's something going on right here. And we're going to look. We're going to take a look. You guys are going to look right with me. I'm not even going to, I was setting stuff up so I could show you guys some stuff. But this might have changed our plans a little bit for tonight. But you got this one here. That's a 6.6 in the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. That was the latest one, I think, or up here maybe. That's a 5.3 at the northern Mid-Atlantic Ridge. So that's on the same fault line, but it's, just within an hour of each other. And I can't remember the last time I seen anything like this. This is something that, again, this is, yeah, so you're looking, look guys, look at that. Now see, if you look at that, that's a, what, 12 minutes? 13 minutes? And that energy traveled that far? Really? That is just crazy. Okay? I don't, again, guys, I am not the earthquake guy. I'm half tempted to try to get Scott in here. I know he's awake, but he's, I don't know if I could even pull him in. I haven't done that yet. So, but yeah, man, I just don't even, I really don't know what to say, because I'm hoping this is going to stop. Because the good thing about what we're seeing right here, the only good thing that I can say is the fact that you're looking at, 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure if that one's over land or not. Probably not. Let's zoom in. Let's find out. A lot looks like most of them are out over the water, and that can be good and bad at the same time. The good part of that would be, obviously, it's not shaking the land. The bad part would be the tsunami issue. Now, it doesn't look like any of the tsunami stuff is happening, so that's a good thing, okay? But this one here looks like to be the biggest one. And if you guys remember, I've shown you guys this stuff before. If you click on all this, this right here, in my opinion, is the most important part of what we see. Yeah. So what you're looking at there is a percentage of what they would be expecting for fatalities and economic loss. And those are probably the two most important data points that most of us want to see. The fatality is just the horrible part of it. We don't even like talking about it, but, unfortunately we have to when stuff like this is going on. But then you got the economic loss here, and that is most definitely something that, and typically these will mirror each other pretty close. So if you start seeing this green drop down and these yellows and oranges popping up, and these little bar graphs here, you don't want to see that. So that's the first thing I always look at when I go to these things. Of course that's just me, but there's other information there to be found. If you just click on that, you actually get this, and you will see regional information, interactive maps. It gives you a shake map. Now I've also found here too, guys, just like everything else that I've been talking about lately, we have to show just a little bit of patience on this, because what will happen, we're not going to get a whole lot of data right at the beginning. Like the felt report. You're not going to get a whole lot of people reporting it in the middle of the night. Not right away. So it'll be a few hours before we get a true, a true data point that we can look at that's more accurate than what we're seeing. So, sorry about that. I had to open a pop. But yeah. So what we'll do, guys, while this is going on, I'll just start going through what I was looking at already anyway, and I'll go back to this every so often and see if we get another update. If you guys see any more big ones pop off, just pop it in the chat. Start yelling at me. We'll see what we got. Yeah. Hey, E-Rock, what's up, man? I just seen you pop in there. How you doing, man? Yeah, hi to all you guys. David H., Sig, Susan, Titch, Tab. Good to see all you guys. I do like this. I know my first stream yesterday wasn't really all that great. I kind of just threw it together, and I kind of felt bad because, I've been promising everybody that for about a week now. And I finally figured it out, and I thought, well, I'll just hop on there for, 15, 20 minutes, and I ended up being on there for like an hour. So, it is what it is. But, I think this time I'm set up a little bit more to the, where I can give you guys actually some decent information. So what we're going to do here, guys, hi from Australia. There you go, music lover. Talked to you before, I think. But yeah. So, anyway, this is the Schumann, obviously. For most of you guys know this. We're not seeing a whole lot of, just not a whole lot here on this right now. And that is kind of what we've been noticing. We had that crazy anomaly that I talked about yesterday. Verte did a 6-part series just on that anomaly. And guys, to understand that kind of an anomaly, you really got to have some patience and try to learn what you're actually looking at. And it does take a little bit to understand it, okay? For those of us that are just kind of a basic, look at this and, what's it mean in the big picture type of situation, that's why, I kind of leave some of that stuff out on purpose, because it becomes a big bowl of word salad a lot. Because even myself, I don't understand all of it all put together sometimes. So when I'm trying to relay that message, I can't just throw a bunch of big words at people, because, it's just not going to be understood. Not that people can't understand what I'm saying. That's not the point. The point is that most of us, if we're not familiar with something, and you start throwing big vocabulary words at them, it just confuses them even more. So we really have to bring it down to a level where we can all understand it together, and, so we can understand just the basics. That's really all we need. You want to dive deeper into it, of course, please do, because you can learn from that, and when you see other things, it will help you. But at the beginning of it, just, try to understand basics, and once you do that, you're off to the races, because it'll click. So when we're looking at this, we've seen that big crazy anomaly that lasted for like 3 days, and they actually gave an explanation for it on their site. Okay, I think they were doing some like equipment upgrades, and it was in that pattern, and it stayed in that pattern for 3 days straight, because they didn't want to shut it off for whatever reason, and that's the way I understand it. Now, if that's exactly how it happened, not sure. There's always that possibility that it could have been something. Okay, I'm not saying that that's not could not have been something. But, if you really look at it, something that lasts that long, if it was something really, really serious that we really shouldn't be seeing, I don't think they would have allowed it to stay there for 3 days. That's just my opinion, guys. And again, if it's something bad, really big, bad stuff like that, they're not going to let it stay there for 3 days. They just won't do it, because it would just cause mass panic for people that really understood what they were looking at. And it did look like it immediately, and I've seen it all before, that part of it, that same signature. And I explained it the day before, so hopefully you guys understood that, because I wasn't trying to downplay what was actually going on. Because when I look at this thing, you guys know what I'm seeing. I'm seeing coded lines and everything else. And you guys seeing this? Right here. Right down through there. It's still there. Plus we're getting these spikes still. These little spikes aren't really much, okay? But they do, they do mean something, okay? Whatever that means. You know what, guys? Hold on 1 second here. I think I'm going to pop over here. X out that. This is Mr. MBB3's page. We'll just go over here and go to the Schumann real quick and see the update. Because with all these earthquakes popping off right now, I'd be interested to see if there's anything. Yeah, see, the Schumann ain't doing anything right now, guys. So, yeah. So whatever that means. With these earthquakes going on and the Schumann's not reacting. Now remember, we got to keep in mind, this is regional. This is over in Russia. This is not the only Schumann tool. Okay? Matter of fact, this one we're looking at here is a combination of different locations, and they put an average. That's another thing that makes that anomaly so crazy that it just adds to, like, there's no way that couldn't have been anything but a tool flaw. And if it wasn't, it was definitely intentionally done. That's what I would say. So, you say lag time? You guys getting a lag or something? Let me know if that's the case. Let's check out these earthquakes again real quick. Update it. Anything new? Nope. Okay, good, guys. Yeah, I have a pretty good internet connection, guys, and I've been fortunate with that. I got Comcast, and it's, I got the higher end of it. Always have, because I got kids that are in school, so it was always beneficial to have a good high speed internet type of situation. So That's why I got that. It wasn't anything other than that. You know, but I remember the days of dial-up, man. Beep, 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 beep. You just want to beat your head against the wall. You know, it felt like you sat there and looked at an hourglass longer than you looked at any information. This is what it felt like anyway. What's this? Okay, yeah. So here's another thing, guys, we're going to talk about real quick. You know, this is space weather. We'll just run down through this real quick. I'm just going to go ahead and update it because I did this. It's been up there for about an hour now. So, yeah. Now, you see the solar X-ray flux up here, guys? That thing is bottoming out again. It's down low enough now, and it's been down there long enough for like 13, 14 days. I think like 15 days even. We haven't had a sunspot facing the Earth. That means we're into what they call solar minimum conditions. And what that means is basically it's a cosmic ray alert. Okay, so if you fly a lot up towards the north or South Pole, you know, I know we don't fly over the South Pole or really even over the North Pole, but the closer you get to those as you're flying in your flight plans and stuff, you have to take consideration, especially if you know, prenatal passengers. That's what scares me the most. You know, pregnant women that get up there and they're taking these big doses of radiation because of these cosmic rays. And yes, we are. Our magnetic field is actually, you know, we've always had cracks in it. I know that freaks people out, but there's always been small cracks here, there, you know, and they vary in size sometimes. You know, I don't know what actually causes them just to bust open and, you know, do whatever it does. We had that geomagnetic rain a couple days ago, and I showed you guys that yesterday in my live stream, and that was awesome. It most definitely was cool, and that was from a crack in our shields, okay? And we were getting hit with that solar wind, and it allowed all that stuff in like it did, and that's what we seen. It was over top of Finland, and they got some great aurora photos from that. I mean, it was awesome. But you know, now the South Atlantic anomaly, guys, that's an anomaly that's been around. Everybody knew about it, and it is changing, okay? They're saying now that it's split in two, and it's, you know, spreading out. And what that is all pointing to, guys, is a magnetic pole flip eventually, okay? So let me clarify that too for people that don't know. It's a magnetic pole flip, not a geographic, okay? There are some theories out there that the geographic will flip too, depending upon what happens. I'm not sure if I'm there, you know. I don't think I'm there in my head yet. I think that for me it's more of a magnetic pole reversal, and that, you know, I don't think we might get jolted around or something, but I don't think it's going to be a complete turn us on top of our head type of situation. If you guys think about that, if that actually was to happen, you know, how fast are we rotating around our axis? And you go moving that thing that fast, yeah. I don't know that I don't think any of us would survive anything like that. You know, but just, you know, could you imagine the winds? You know, if you're moving that fast and all of a sudden you just stop or you slow down and you flip here, there, I mean, just in a quick way. You know, you can do your own little science experiments at home, but you put that on a grand scale, and you're talking about just destroying things. I mean, it would be global. There would be nothing left. Unless it did it slow. If it did it like really, really slow, then yeah, I could see something like that happening. But it would still change our weather. Tides would be all jacked up, and it would still be really, really bad. But as far as the magnetic pole reversal, listen, none of us have been here for that. Nobody has ever. It's all theory until we see it happen. Okay, we can go back to some of the, you know, sedimentary stuff that geologists look at, and we try to figure out what could have happened. And yes, some of it does point to the bad stuff when we get our pole flips, but you know, we just simply don't know. They didn't have the technology back then as we do now, so we couldn't. You know, we're going to get a little bit more of a warning. We already are. You know, we know where magnetic north is, and we know how fast it's moving. We know where it's moving, so it does give us a little bit of a warning system to say, hey, this thing is getting ready to go. I think the, like, event horizon is what I call it. with the point of no return for the magnetic north and magnetic south. I think they're using the latitude 40 degrees. If it makes it down that far, it's not coming back. It's going to go ahead and flip. Now, how long it takes it to do that is still up for question. So, but yeah, and yeah, David, magnetic excursions, and that's another thing, and and Della, you're talking about a headache, right? Listen, I'm telling you, it ain't just me. It's a lot of people right now. As a matter of fact, I had a massive headache about 2 hours ago. And I hadn't even looked at any of this stuff yet, so I don't know if it had anything to do with this. But, man, my wife's been having a really, really bad headache. When I get people that come and start saying stuff like that have no idea what, I research or what I talk about, it's like I work part-time in lawn care, and when I get, people saying, hey, why am I seeing all my plants burning up this year and for the past 2 or 3? And I'm sitting there thinking to myself that you might want to sit down because I could fill your head full of a bunch of stuff. But I don't. I just tell them, I'm like, listen, I think the UV is becoming more intense. And I leave it at that. And I'll give them some information if they want it to go research. But the fact of the matter is, when somebody comes up, don't know what you even do on the internet, or don't know what you research or anything, and they're saying the same things you're saying about, headaches, plants burning up because of UV and stuff, that some of that has to be true then. Because you're not just saying it. It is most definitely something that does lend validity to stuff. So, UV and UVC, yeah, it's a key. I mean, listen, UVC is a whole nother ball game. We shouldn't be feeling any of that. UVC was thought to never ever be able to reach the surface up until just a few years ago. So much so that they didn't even talk about it in the textbooks. They wouldn't even say it was going to reach the ground. They thought they were that specific with it. Well, I think Mr. MBB3 done just blew that way out the water because, he started picking up those readings of UVC, and he wasn't the only one, but, that's the guy that actually, believe it or not, guys, that's kind of how I got into doing what I'm doing. I was looking at UV stuff and came across his channel and started watching that, and it kind of got me into the sky phenomenon thing, and it just one thing led to another. But, yeah. They do a good job with that. And the only thing that can protect you against UVC is just covering your skin. And yes, that does suck when you're out like in the hot weather. So, but if you can stay in the shade, if you can figure some way. Now, a lot of the people that I was working with, they actually switched their hats to like those big flat bill hats that circle. I call them like fisherman's hats, or I don't know, gardener's hats or whatever. Something that like sticks out over their shoulders and covers their neck, because it does help. Okay, we got to keep in mind skin cancer is one of the leading. I mean, it's just bad cancer. It's not good, and that's what you're protecting yourself from. So, but and another thing, guys, for those that don't know, sunscreen, it only protects against A and B. UVA and B. UVC, the only thing that you can do for that is cover your skin or get out of the sun. If I'm repeating stuff that you guys already know, I apologize, but I do want the newer listeners to kind of understand what we're talking about here real quick. So I try to make that fast, but a lot of people already know that as general knowledge anyway. But UVC, guys, you can get that from welding. That's, because they would say, hey, you're not going to see UVC unless you're getting it from an artificial source, like welding, that kind of thing. But as soon as they started seeing it and getting readings, you haven't heard the mainstream science community even hardly touch that subject because they don't want to. They're scared to. Because they know the implications of what they're going to have to say. And, sorry to say that, but I don't know. Everybody can draw their own conclusions when it comes to that. But anyway, here on the space weather, guys, you see how we kind of flattened out here on this yellow line? That's the wind speed right there. Okay? Let me see if I can just... There you go. These little blackout areas, they're normal, okay? It's because of the position of the satellite and its line of sight to where it's got to communicate the data. So, sometimes you'll see these. Why do we see like two of them? Well, if you guys go over and look at SDO, that satellite, and I've showed it to you guys a lot, it actually orbits in a figure 8 pattern. Okay? It doesn't just sit over top of what specific location and stay in that one spot and just move with the Earth. It doesn't do that. It actually, it's in a figure 8. And I don't know why they did the figure 8. I don't. But I know that that's what they do. And they actually will put out, they call it the eclipse season for SDO. We know when it's coming, so it's not a big surprise. Now, people that are looking at those satellite images and don't know that, it will freak you out because it looks like something's eclipsing the sun. And sometimes I've actually seen it eclipse halfway, stop, and look like it went back the other direction. So if you didn't know that's part of the actual figure 8 pattern, that would completely freak you out. But yeah, so that's what's going on there. CERN is weak. I just seen that one. Listen, another thing with that is not the only high-speed particle collider on the planet. There are multiple ones. Okay? So we're just not going to know. That's a simple fact when it comes to that kind of thing. We don't know where all of them are at. We can't just pinpoint this, that. Yes, do I think some of the stuff that we're seeing is due to CERN? Yeah, I do. But I also think it's due to some of the other stuff that we see and with some of the other particle colliders. I guarantee you, if we could say, hey, there's a particle collider right there and we had this event, we could, start pointing to those things, and they would probably line up. Some of them, anyway. But here's the end little model, guys. This up here, the top one is the conditions at Earth. Right now, in time, we are right here, about the 6th, obviously. And if you look up here, you're seeing a little uptick. Now, guys, we're getting... The sun has fired off like four CMEs or 5 within the past couple days. And we're going to look at that here in a second, but it most certainly is firing off in a lot of different directions. So, and really none of it's actually coming at us, which thankfully, we don't want that, right? Here's the, I'll tell you what, I'm going to update that too, because this is the Magnetosphere models, and this will show you guys what solar wind is doing to us right now in our magnetosphere. I don't know if it's why is it going blue like this? See, that's another thing, guys. Anybody else been experiencing this lag crap with their internet? I know that when I go to like the NOAA sites right now, it takes forever for stuff to load. See how long that took? And look what it did. It went to that. Why did it go to that? That's not what I clicked on. And that's what I'm trying to say. But anyway, here's the CME tracker. Okay? This CME tracker, obviously, it doesn't update unless it sees a CME. If you go up here and look at the timestamp in the upper left, what are you looking at there? The beginning frames start on the 5th. So that means that was a CME that popped off on the 5th. Now, if you go down here to the, I guess I could zoom in a little bit here more. Earth is right here. This little yellow ball. Okay? Something else I've noticed here too that it does matter sometimes is all the planets are still kind of on the same side of the sun. That will cause things to happen in certain time frames. Planetary alignments have long since been known to cause all kinds of issues. So we could dive into that, but that's a whole. You could probably start a channel just on that subject. But you can see this thing popping off the back. So that did not come at us. That one didn't. But when this thing updated for this one, There was one that shot off this way a few hours before that. So we're not able to see that one. That's the bad thing about this model. It won't put them both on there for some reason. And if I remember right, I don't think it ever did that. Now, I don't know why they're doing that now, but that's what they're doing. Okay? So that one there is not going to mess with us. You got your IMF lines here too, guys. You see those dotted lines, dashed lines? That's our connection to the sun. And as you can tell, the sun is connected to everything in our solar system, including the satellites. Okay, those square boxes are the satellites. Go up here and look at the key. The Parker SP is the green one. It's sitting right here. Now you'll notice that one there, it moves faster than the rest of them. I don't know if it has a specific orientation that they, if the trajectory and the travel of it's already mapped out before they, send it up there. I don't know. Or can they steer it? I think it's probably a little bit of both. But, yeah. Stereo B, guys, they took it off of this. It used to be there. Okay? And that's a big deal. Okay? We got Stereo A right here, this red box. Well, Stereo B was over here on the other side. So we were able to see all sides of the sun at all times. At least a pretty decent, shot at seeing the backside, the majority of it. So when they took that away, that was a big thing. I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail there, but, Scott was seeing a lot of stuff on there. He made some pretty crazy looking discoveries on that thing right before they shut it down. Right before they took it offline. And yes, I understand that some stuff can actually happen, like, if it got hit with a big massive solar storm or something like that, it don't have the protection like the Earth does with a magnetosphere. So it will most definitely, take a harder hit. And when it does so, what could happen? Well, it can lose navigation, it could do this, it could do that. Those are known issues, but for it to only last as many years as it did, and then for them to say they lost communications with it, and then they found it again, and then they were still plotting it for years, wherever it was at. I have a hard time thinking that they weren't getting any data from that. So, for whatever it is, we're not. That's one thing I've learned to do since I've started doing all this is, we can only know as much as we try to know. And we're still not going to know everything that we want to. So we just give our best effort, and, where it falls is where it falls, guys. When I was working at a factory here, I worked there for over 20 years working on printing machines. And I could walk out there every day with my head held high because I knew I gave my 100%. If we got laid off or anything like that, I knew there was nothing I could do about it, so I never worried about it. And I say that to a lot of people all the time. Don't worry about stuff you can't control. And this is one of those things you can't. But we should still try to stay aware, because there are things that we can do to prepare. There are things we can do to react, believe it or not. Okay, if we got enough time. So that's what I do anyway. Now, tell you what, let's check on the earthquakes again real quick. You guys see anything new there? I don't see anything new, do you? Tell you what, let me do this. Let's see if I can't. Just real quick. Where's it at? USGS. Where's my stupid... There it is. Okay. Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that was updating right. It is. So yeah, right now we're still same kind of thing. Nothing else has popped off yet. But guys, look at that. That's like 5 of them within a couple hour period. That's a whole lot of stuff going on. So what we're going to do here, guys, check this out. We're going to, I'll tell you what, let's just do this real quick. You see this one right here? This is the our magnetopause model. Let me shrink that down a little bit. So I'm going to update it so we get the latest captures that we can. And we'll run it to the end here. Okay. So we're seeing, yes, it's past where those earthquakes were happening, so we'll be able to see if we were getting hit with anything. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we might have. See that right there? You know, it doesn't look real hard, like a real hard hit, though, guys. I mean, yes, that is increased conditions there, but it's not crazy. Okay, I've seen it look so much worse, and I know everybody else probably has too. It doesn't mean that ain't what pushed it over the edge, but something that you can look at here, guys. If I start going to the right, remember the sun's off to the right, sending energy from right to left. Okay, so if we're getting hit in the front, you know, we should see stuff happening in the back also after we get hit in the front. But when we start seeing stuff happening in the back with nothing going on the right side first, you have to wonder, okay, where's that coming from? Now, I will say this. I wholeheartely believe that we hold energy, and we're like a capacitor, and we most certainly do let that go sometimes. And I do think that that's what we see, okay? Now, you are seeing a little bit of something there, though. Look at that, guys. That's quite a bit of, yeah, that's quite a bit of pressure around our planet right there. What happens, guys, is, so if anybody doesn't know, we'll get hit from up here, okay, and we'll do what we call compression. You see the bow shock, this little arc out here? It will go towards our planet when we get hit. Watch, goes towards our planet, and then everything looks like it quieted it down. Well, it didn't. Now we're going to push back. Watch, boom. See that? We get compressed, and then we do rapid expansion and push back out. Now, I always give everybody this this kind of analogy here on this. And what I would say to that is, you know, when I was a kid, my uncle and I would wrestle around. And, you know, obviously he was an adult and I was a child, so he could stick his arm out and put his hand on my forehead while I was trying to, you know, get to him. Well, that's kind of what this is happening right here. You know, the Earth would be my uncle. I would be the solar wind coming in from the side. Well, eventually, if he decides to let go, boom, I fall to the ground, right? So if I'm pushing up this way and he just moves his hand, I fall right in. And then finally, you know, if I'm pushing back hard enough, one of us has got to win. And, you know, I can tell you that our magnetosphere is always won. And, you know, we've taken some pretty good hits. It's flipped a couple different times. At least that's what we think. We've seen it on these tools before. You know, it's hard to explain it when you're watching this tool and everything like flipped 180 degrees. So we started protecting ourselves from the back. When that happens, you guys got to understand that if our magnetosphere had to protect stuff coming from the back, that means that energy was stronger than what we were experiencing coming from our sun. Okay? That's what I would, yeah. And that's only happened, you know, 2012, I think, and I think it's happening more often than what we know. You know, maybe for not like the length of time. But yeah. And when that does happen, that doesn't mean our planet's going to get destroyed. It doesn't mean that at all. Okay? You know, if you guys look at Mars, Mars didn't look like that overnight. Okay? When it slowly lost its atmosphere or fast, however it happened, it didn't just happen like overnight. I mean, it had to get barraged with all this solar wind for multiple days before, you know, obviously it became pretty desolate without an atmosphere. So, anyway, this is actually one of those where you can actually kind of see the cracks in our magnetic field. If you look down here, you can see where this energy kind of, it looks like it's coming in certain areas. Okay? And you can see that. Now, when this stuff gets inside that dotted line, that means it's inside our satellite line, okay? And a lot of times when that happens, you'll see these satellites start going into safe mode because they're getting smacked with some pretty good solar weather. All right. Something else I want to show you guys real quick too, and it's easier for me to explain it during the live stream right here doing this, because this right here is a good way to show you guys what the heck is going on, man. Open. Are you gonna open or not? There it is. Okay. The model I just showed you guys was two-dimensional, right? But this right here is more so what our magnetic field looks like. If the sun was up here, shooting weather this way at us, this is more so what our magnetic field and our shields look like. It's more of a donut, and we're right in the middle. Okay, it's three-dimensional like that. This is actually a really good way to show you guys how, when we get hit with stuff, why things come in on the poles easier. You see that? You see how that comes in easier right there? Let's do that. Okay? Now, so what you're seeing there, look at that. You can see if we got hit here, the energy could come in at the poles a lot easier than trying to go through all these different layers of protection before it gets to us, right? Now, don't get me wrong. That still happens when we get the big hits. But electricity is much like water in the fact that it tries to find the path of least resistance. That's usually what it's going to take. Okay? So the path of least resistance into our planet is through the poles. That's where our magnetic field is the weakest. So that's what it does. And so if you keep that in mind too, it's another thing that lends to the fact that we act like a capacitor. So our core gets all that energy comes down through there. And guys, we can't hold it all the time. So it does cause some stuff. They're saying now that the sun can cause earthquakes. There's been peer-reviewed papers, multiple ones now. It takes years for all that stuff to actually get decided. But once you start hearing the professional scientists and stuff talk about that, it's stuff that we've been talking about for years. But it can't be accepted until it goes through the proper chain or whatever. But, and I respect that actually, believe it or not. Those guys are way smarter than I ever could be. But, I have a basic understanding, and, I think most of us have a way to where we can at least say, hey, I observed that. I've seen it with my own eyeballs. That kind of thing. What caused it? Might not be able to tell you, but I can sure tell you that I seen something. Okay, let's go back to this. But yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, Faraday cage, David. Those are good things, guys. Faraday cages are, if you want. Again, I have to say this too. However much you want to prepare for whatever we're going to prepare for, do it to where you feel comfortable. Okay, don't let somebody else tell you where to feel comfortable at. Take people's advice. Take in all the information that you can, and then you make your own decision. And don't let somebody else try to tell you you're doing the wrong thing, because you're not. If you're comfortable with where you're at, that's where you stay. And, that's what you have to do. Don't worry about anything other than that. I get a lot of emails and stuff talking about this. And guys, and like I said in my video yesterday, this is hard information to put out there in a positive way. And, at first it was all gloom and doom to me. And I tried my best to not let it come off like that. I think I do an okay job with that, but I think I can get better at it at some levels. And but the fact of the matter is, sometimes it just is what it is. Yeah, we got people in the chat messing around or something. I don't know if I haven't been really seeing if anybody's in there causing problems. Yes, I only got two mods, guys. This is, like I said, all this live stream and stuff just kind of got thrown together at first. I got Scott and I got Seven. Yeah, no, why gloom and doom? Eve, there ain't no gloom and doom. I ain't gloom and dooming. Not at all. I'm always, again, I don't worry about stuff I can't control. And I really don't. And like you said, it is what it is. Yeah, I mean it. And that's just what it is, I don't know how else to put it, guys. I wish I had all the answers, even if it was hard answers to get and find and hard things that we had to do to make sure everything was fine. That's what I would do. But, we just don't have that, guys. I wish we did. And, we get accused of fear-mongering all the time. And it's not. But, anyway, here's the sun. Again, guys, this is, yeah. So I'm going to update this right here. We're going to watch this because there's multiple things firing off the sun. And, believe it, we got one that fired off the south pole of the sun. We haven't seen an ejection off the south pole in a while. So, yeah. Yeah, give me a second, guys. Yeah, if you guys see anything, trolls or anything in there messing around, getting too crazy, holler at me in the chat, and I'll try to take care of it. But I want everybody to listen. Even the people that want to come in and like be against on purpose for no other reason than just to do what they're doing. That doesn't bother me. You want to know why? Because those are the people that really need to hear what we're saying. Because eventually, I even care about those people. I really do. So, they can come in and have their own opinion as long as they're not being, derogatory or anything like that, attacking you guys especially. They can say whatever they want about me as long as it's not, like, vulgar. Guys, read my comment section. I mean, I leave it all there. I really do. And I do that for a couple reasons. First, because I'm not going to waste my time trying to mess with that. Second, eventually, what I can do, and if it got to that, and I've only done this like once or twice, but if I wait like 1 or 2 weeks, usually I can go back to those comments where they were slamming people, and I can show them their own words and show them how they were wrong because what we were saying actually happened. So, that is what it is, Yeah, Rick, listen, that's another thing, guys. It doesn't bother me when people, well, I ain't gonna say it don't bother me. It doesn't bother me to the point where I'm gonna like lose sleep on it like I used to when I first started my channel. I've come to accept the fact that people aren't gonna always like what I have to say or agree with what I'm saying. And if they want to, go name calling, like if another channel's name calling me or whatever, that doesn't. I mean, yes, I got called an idiot and all that kind of thing. I'd be sitting here lying to you if I didn't tell you that right at first that bothered me a little bit. But guess what? I still watch their channel, and the reason why is the fact that they're still, even though they were coming at me, they still do put out some truth. Okay. That's just where I'm at with it. I don't care what they're saying about me as long as I'm going to get some truth out of something, because that's my goal. I want the truth. And if I have to listen to everything that somebody's slamming me over or anything like that just to be doing it or whatever, if I get a little bit of extra truth out of it, then I've won. That's how I look at it. So, I don't know how you guys feel about all that, but, and everybody acts different. Listen, I wish I sometimes I wish I could come at people. I just don't have it in me, guys. And it's not because I hope people don't see that as a weak trait either, because it's not. I'll attack the idea and typically leave the person that said that idea out of it. And so when I do that, it kind of eliminates a lot of that stuff that people want to hold on to. Now, other people, now listen, I ain't saying people don't deserve the fact to be able to defend themselves, especially when they're getting really, really beat up, okay, over stuff that shouldn't be happening, like death threats and stuff like that. Because believe me, I've seen my share, not really like of that kind of situation, but that did happen a couple different times that you guys don't know about. It's amazing to me that just trying to put out information that people will actually take it that far and just try to do stuff like that, and it just doesn't. I don't know. I've never, and that death threat wasn't actually to me. It was to somebody else. So obviously I had to report that because I wasn't going to let somebody else's channel, somebody that runs a channel that's actually a pretty big channel. I'm not going to go into it or anything, but they left a comment in my comment section threatening them, and I didn't get that, but whatever. I emailed them, let them know what was going on, and I took care of it that way. There's some things that are just best left there and not even brought out, because the more attention you give stuff like that, it just seems like it just will, it'll just overtake all of it. But anyway, sorry about that little side rant there. I know some of you guys get on me about that, but guys, that's who I am. I'm sorry. I do the research and stuff here too, but I do have my opinions, and I do feel like I have the right to say them. I don't try to repeat those same opinions, but if it's something that's pertinent to what we're talking about, I think that sometimes that will help put things in perspective for other people. But anyway, so we got the sun here, and if you guys look, and I'm gonna zoom in pretty far here so you guys can get a really, really good look at this. Oops. So, hey guys, let me know what kind of definition are you guys seeing this at? Is this pretty clear to you guys? The actual pixelization and stuff, is it coming across pretty good here? I'm just curious. Just let me know. I wish I could broadcast it like 4K or something, but alright, cool. I just wanted to make sure that you guys could see it, because sometimes when we show these pictures of the sun, it's hard to show you guys stuff if it's not actually, coming through with like 1080p or 720p or whatever this thing will broadcast out at. But anyways, you guys can see these over here, right? I mean, I guess I can zoom in just one more time here. I really want you guys to see this, because you're going to see, like right here, watch right in here. Is it going to do it, or did it already do it? If I reloaded that, it might not have went back too far. I might have, let's see here. Yeah, it's not there anymore. I went too far ahead. But there was a pretty good shot that come off this side of the sun, and that was on the 5th, okay? And then you get this one up here. Look at this one. Now see, that's what I call a slow mover. Right there. Now, guys, what we're looking at are different gases. Okay, when they look through this different light spectrum on these extreme ultraviolet captures, these are different gases that they're looking for. Different gases show up in different areas of the light spectrum. So that's why they do this. And we're able to see more because we can obviously, you see what we're getting here. But you see this little slow moving stuff, but if we go up here, watch this. Right in here, this active area. I even talked about this active area yesterday. Watch this thing, it'll blow here real quick. See that? That blew off there pretty fast. Now that one went off the backside too, because the CME tracker's updated like 3 times today, guys. So there's been like 3 CMEs today, and fortunately none of them are coming at us that I can see. Okay, but something else here that I do want to show you. If you go over here, now if you guys remember me talking about this thing, how sunspots can come and go within like 6 hours, watch this little sunspot right here. This is from an old active area that was over here, and it was actually doing some stuff, if you guys remember. But it kind of died down, and watch this thing just kind of get really, really active really, really quick. See that? It even had a couple little small flares right there. Now, those are extremely small flares, okay? They're not even showing up on the X-ray flux. But that did flare a little bit there. You know, this stuff going off the side, we don't really have to worry about until it comes back around. There's no worries there, but it does point to the fact, again, that we are ramping up fast. I mean, even with, and I think Scott might have even said this in his last live stream, or his premiere he did today, even with no sunspots, guys, facing the Earth, the sun's extremely active. You know? It's unfortunate that that's the only marker they use to see what sun cycle, you know, where we're at in the sun cycle and how active it is. That's what they use. However many days we have with the sunspots facing us determines how they say how active the sun is. But they don't take in consideration what's going on in the back. So we could have no sunspots, and there could be 12 of them on the backside. you know what I mean? That just means all the activity is on the other side. Now, yes, I get that that will probably most likely even out. I get that. But at the same time, you never know. What if planetary alignments cause the sun to be more active on one side than the other? That kind of stuff. And they just don't take that in consideration when they're trying to tell everybody how active the sun's going to be. So, yeah, so we got these popping off everywhere, guys. I just don't know what else to say about that, because fortunately, none of it's coming at us right now. Now, this over here, that's actually kind of cool to look at. We'll zoom in even further on that one. You see these little bases right here? Those are what we call solar vortexes. Now, I kind of spoke about that. You know, solar tornadoes is what we used to call them. But what they are, guys, keep in mind, this is not wind. Okay? There's a magnetic connection right there. Okay? The particles from the sun are following that connection. And sometimes they swirl around. They always swirl around that center point. Okay? Just like the solar wind. When it leaves the sun, it leaves on the same connection. We're connected to the sun. The solar wind comes to us on that connection line, and it spirals the whole way here. Okay? And the less dense ones will be way out like this, and the ones that are more dense will be towards the middle. Right? So, you know, I just thought this right here was kind of cool to look at. I don't think I can zoom in anymore. But yeah, so you had like 3 different little actions going on here. It's always puzzled me too. You know, sometimes we wonder if there's something sitting there, because you get that C signature, and you wonder why. But if you look right there, guys, I mean, it looks like, you know, Tornado Alley. But also I want to show you guys this right here, because this is something we ain't seen in a while, and that is an eruption on the south pole of the sun. And, you know, for the most part, the north and south pole of the sun is a big coronal hole. There's always coronal hole there. See that right there? Watch right in there. You see it spitting and sputtering? And it actually does eject there a little bit. And let's watch it go through the time lapse again here. But right here, this little active area, it shoots out. See that? That plasma left the sun right there. That was a little CME. But I don't think it was coming at us. Obviously, it was pointing down. But yeah. I'll tell you what, guys. Let's here's this one. Now I know some people like this one, some people don't. This is the one that will show you the filaments really, really well. And again, guys, these things get camouflaged because of the sun itself. When we see stuff out here in space, and it's coming off the limb, we got the blackness of space to kind of give us a contrasting color. Well, this is like going hunting for CMEs, right? If you go hunting for deer or whatever, you're out in the woods, you're in camouflage. Well, this is its camouflage. They even got words for stuff that they don't see, like stealth solar storms. We'll get hit with solar storms every great once in a while that they can't explain and they don't know where it came from. Until they go back and look because they missed it. And, a lot more times than not, they'll find it. But they call them stealth solar storms because we didn't know it was going to hit us. But, so this is a 304 angstrom. And what I want you guys to look at here, because I think we need to pay attention to this part right now. This is right here. If I was going to be concerned with what's going on in the sun right now, it would be this right here, and I'll show it to you. See this little dark area right here? That's a filament. It's raising off the surface right now. Okay, I'm going to put it in play here in a second, but I wanted to show it to you here first. Okay, now you can see the edge of the sun. How the whole they call those the limb of the sun too, guys. Okay, and for people that don't know, it's actually reverse of what you would say on a map that you're looking at here. The right side, the right limb of the sun, is actually the west limb of the sun. Now, I know it sounds ridiculous, but that's how they've done it, and that's how they do space. Now, I know I've had people get kind of crazy over this right here, too. That right there was where that area I was showing you with the solar vortexes, okay? Now, just because this plasma and these gases are out like this, doesn't mean that this thing's going to eject right there. That's not ejecting, okay? In order for that to be a CME, that plasma has to break free and go on out into space. And that tells you how powerful our star is. Because, check this out. I'm not sure if I've ever shown it to you guys before. But I've seen, like, it break, like right here. And shoot out, to about right here. And it would be completely black. The blackness of space is, a completely broken line. And the sun would recapture it. So that was not a CME. Well, it was for about 10 minutes. And then the sun sucked it back in. So, and I know gravity has a lot to do with that, guys, but I'm here to tell you that electromagnetism has a lot more to do with any of that. Negative and positive is where it's at, just so everybody understands that. I do think that we act like a big magnet for the most part. So I'm going to push play on this one here, and we're going to take a look at it. If it's going to let me. Is it going? There it goes. Okay. So, this is probably my favorite view, if anybody ever wanted to know. I do think this is the most cool looking view that we get to see. If you look right there. I mean, isn't that cool? So you're seeing all that activity, right? And it looks cool until it hits you in the face, right? I guess. So yeah. But that is quite a bit of activity. Now you can see how it's all dancing around. Now when we see that kind of stuff, we most definitely do take note, because that stuff can at any time erupt. But here's that one too. Here's that little ejection on the South Pole. Now I'm only showing you guys this one here because this is something we ain't seen in a while. It's not to say that it doesn't happen or shouldn't happen, because it should and it does. We've had big ones come off the poles before, but you can see that. So, but typically when we're talking about the poles of the sun, we're talking about coronal holes, and it's just what it is. Most of the space weather itself that comes from the poles is from a coronal hole. But you're going to see a couple little ejections popping off here too, guys, because you'll see the material leave. It's not a big one or anything like that, but you're going to see a couple, like, see that little puff right there? That one there kind of went back. But, yeah, so some of that stuff went on out into space. Now again, none of this is coming at us. I have to stress that. Now you see this up here, this activity going on up here. And something else that actually me and Scott's been talking about this quite a bit lately. We've noticed that like when we start seeing CMEs on one side of the sun, it's almost like it's pointing an arrow at it, at something in space. Because up here, it'll start firing like this direction. And then down here, it's like doing the opposite. So, did you guys see that right? That shot straight down through there? I'm going to try to stop it on that. I'm going to see if it does it again. It might just be me. I don't know. Hold on a second. Nope, something shot across there. I can't believe I've seen that, but I'm going to zoom out, guys, see if I can't find it. Yeah, something shot across the satellite there. Let's find that little sucker. See what that is. Try to stop it on the. Okay, I've seen a little bit of it right there. See if I can't run it back here. Went too far, huh? Sorry for the quietness. Sorry. Alright, well, I ain't gonna waste my time on it. We had like a little, it looked like a little meteor shot from south to north. But yeah, I'll hit play here again real quick, and we'll take a look at this again. But yeah, guys, I do think that's what's going on with this. We are getting a lot of activity on the sun. Now I'm gonna zoom back in because I want you guys to see this filament in action because it's moving. It may go ahead and release on out here in a minute. Now remember, these filaments are just like our old incandescent light bulbs. You know, they used to make the filaments out of tungsten in the light bulbs, and when that filament would break, the light bulb would go out. That's what blowing a light bulb was. Okay? You know, there's resistance there on purpose. It caused a certain amount of resistance, which added heat and light, and that's where the light came from for the bulb. So when that finally breaks, that filament breaks, that light bulb goes out. And that's something really similar to what we see with these filaments. Okay, if the positive and negatives get too close to each other, what do? You know, or positive to positive. That'll push against each other. So that's what we see. But yeah. Would you say their Wages World 20 time frame? Okay. Is that what you're saying? 20 on the time lapse here? See if I can't find it. Let's back it up. Yeah, I don't know if it's there or not, man. If you got an exact timestamp, let me know and I'll take it to that. But it's right there. So yeah, I don't think it was nothing really big to look at. It was just a it was just a little meteor shot across in front of the satellite. It's hard to tell how big those are too, guys, because we just simply don't know how close they are to the sun. So if they are closer to us, they would be smaller. If they're that big and they're way out by the sun, those would what we would call, you know, sun divers for the most part. They dive into the sun. You know, sun doesn't let a whole lot get past it. Okay. Let's push play on this one. This is the 211. Now, guys, this one here, this one does show a little bit more darker areas, but it doesn't mean all these are coronal holes. Okay. It just means that gas that it's looking for isn't there quite as much on this one. In order to get like a real true coronal hole, you have to be missing it on almost all the gases. Okay? Because Scott explained it like this once. It's almost like the atmosphere of the sun gets peeled back, and then everything that's inside from the surface gets blowed out. Now, yeah. So, and remember, they're particles. What's a particle? A particle is a part of an atom. Okay, they're charged particles. That's what they are. They have an electrical charge, and that's why they travel on that connection. So if anybody knows anything about electricity, it's, you know, what electricity, simplified definition of what electricity is, it's just the movement of electrons from one atom to the other. That's why we use like copper and silver and gold and stuff when we're trying to find stuff that's conductive, because it lends the electrons a lot easier in certain metals. So it allows it to flow better. Now, did you guys see that? That's what I wanted to show you. Oh, gosh, yeah. Let's go into here. Let's do that. I'm going to show this to you because, believe it or not, sometimes these ones you don't expect is going to show anything. It'll surprise you. Look right in here. See that? You guys see 2 explosions there? That's what happened. 2 eruptions. You'll see one here first. Right about... Bam. See that? Boom. And then boom over here. Okay? So we're getting, like I said, man, the sun is not playing around right now. Now, don't get me wrong. These are not full halo CMEs. Okay? These are like what I call garden variety, I guess, if you want to use that word. Meteorologists use that when they're saying like garden variety thunderstorm, pop-up thunderstorms and stuff. But yeah. So you got that. Here's this one. This is the 193, and a lot of people use this one a lot for a whole lot of different reasons. It seems to show everything in the middle, kind of like gives you like a better overall picture of what's going on. It doesn't show anything really well, but it shows all things kind of well. That's just what we typically see on this particular view. Now, I want to point something else out too. You guys see this right here? It says 193 angstrom. You see the color of it, right? It's yellowish gold. Well, if you go over to stereo A, heck, let's just do it. It's right here. Stereo A. Look, what's this say right here? 171, right? The 171 angstrom. It's blue, right? Remember, that's on stereo A. Well, here's the 171 on SDO. It's yellow. So just because they're using that angstrom to tell you what they're looking for doesn't mean that that's actually the true color of it. They pick the colors they want this to be at. So a lot of people didn't know that. I didn't know that for a long time. So that's why I tell people about it. But those are both the same view. Same angstrom. EUVI 171. 171. Okay? I just wanted to clarify that because sometimes I do get questions on that. Let's see here. Oh, this right here too. I'll go ahead and show this to you too. This is basically the radiation that we look at. There's multiple different levels of this. Okay. This one here is on the 50 keV. Now, you can go up to 4,000 and down to 10, I think, as far as it goes. But these are essentially our Van Allen belts, okay? So what we're looking at here, you're going to see radiation come in. And, guys, they got what they call a flushing effect. And sometimes we'll get density that builds around our planet, and then we'll get hit with some solar wind, and it'll flush it out the back. Okay, sometimes we'll take some pretty decent hits when that happens. But, it is what it is. I do want to show you, though, this. Okay, here's one of the other Magnetosphere models. I'm going to hit play here. Well, I'm just going to use the bar here. So you're seeing some action here, right? Now, we see this quite often. Okay, this isn't something that we would be freaking out about, but it is action. And what we're looking at, when we start seeing these pole lines get sucked way down here, there's usually something going on, right? I mean, we're getting solar wind, and that could be it too. But the blue lines are our connection to the sun and other celestial bodies. So when those lines are getting broke, that means our connection is getting broke at some level. Doesn't mean we've lost complete connection. That's not what I mean. But all those blue lines in a perfect world would be like completely perpendicular. Just evenly spaced out through that graph. But obviously it's never like that because it's not a perfect world, right? And I guess this would be a good time to address this too. This is roughly our bow shock. Okay, our bow shock is formed by what? Our bow shock is our first line of defense against solar wind. Okay, so the sun's shooting solar wind at us. Our magnetic field, or you could call it a shield, I guess, is protecting us. So the point where solar wind hits our magnetic field, you get this bow shock. Now, every once in a while, you'll come over to this graph, and that will be this, where the red is, will be the same color as out here. In other words, it'll look like it's gone. But that's not what's happening. All that this thing is showing you is the density. So if you have the same amount of density particles that are there on both sides of the bow shock, it's going to look like it's not there. The only way for our bow shock to go down or go away completely would be for one of two things would have to happen. Either the sun would have to explode and go away, because that would mean the solar wind wouldn't be there, or our magnetic field would have to go completely away. And if either one of those happens, we're not having this conversation anymore. So, if our bow shock ever does go away, we're never going to know it, because we're not going to have time to look at the graph. I guarantee you that. Now, again, if it does go away, we would have some time, from, with the solar wind and stuff. But if our magnetic field went down completely, there had to be a big reason for that to happen, is what I'm trying to say. The core of our planet is really pretty much what is giving us all the magnetic field and stuff. There's a whole lot of things to that, and I'm not going to go into big detail on any of that, but yeah. So, I did want to go over this real quick. This is the Carrington event, guys. You guys hear us talk about this a lot. The Carrington event was a big solar flare, and they called it a flare because they didn't used to differentiate between a solar flare and a coronal mass ejection. Okay, the flare part of it, when it does decide to flare, is here and gone in about 8 minutes. We get no warning for it, alright? Now, the subsequent CMEs that often happen with it, we do get days to prepare for that. But this Carrington event fried all the telegraph lines on the planet, okay? At least in one big area. And this was back in 1859, okay? September 1st. I think I talked about this a little bit already. But what you're seeing here, guys, is that. Now, why am I talking about the Carrington event? Well, I want to tell you guys that this is something that is not as rare as was once thought. This guy here in Japan did all this research and stuff. And, yeah, there's been a lot of events that's happened that he's been able to put out there that, back in 2000, I think it was 2017, we dodged a pretty big bullet. I think they might even talk about that in this article. Let's see here. See here, they had it in mid-September 1770. I'm trying to find the one that happened just a few years back. Let's see here. There's one in 1909, 1921. Where's it at? Okay, in July 2012, NASA and European spacecraft watched an extreme solar storm erupt from the sun and narrowly missed us. Okay, listen to this, guys. This is back in 2012. If it had hit, we would still be picking up the pieces, announced these guys at the University of Colorado. Okay? That was 2 years later. So in 2014, when he was speaking to these people, that's what would have happened. Now, I can't tell you guys how much that this would affect everybody. I can't stress it enough. None of us know how to live without electricity. Well, I guess my age and maybe a little older might. But for the most part, and they pretty much will tell you that if we were to get hit with something like this, the initial blast ain't what we got to worry about. It would be all of us that we have to worry about, because we would have no electricity, and the whole the whole planet would go nuts and just turn on itself. I mean, let's just say what it is, because that's what would happen. They say about 90% of the population would be gone because of that one reason. So, how often do these things actually happen? Well, I wanted to bring this to you guys, and I kind of roughly went over this already before, but I do want to show you guys this because I want you guys to understand. So when we talk about the G1 storm, because we talk about the sun shooting stuff all the time, well, what actually happens when it does hit us, and how strong is it, and what could we expect? Well, this right here is going to tell you. Okay? So we got a G1 storm. Guys, look at this. 1,700 times in an 11-year period, we can expect that. You guys seeing that? Now, I know it's going to shock a lot of people. That's a big number. Okay? It shocked me when I first seen it. So a G level 1 storm obviously is the lowest. These storms can cause weak power grid fluctuations, minor impact on satellite operations, and it says migratory animals. Now, I talked about that a little bit in my last video, and because I kind of just breezed over this real quick. But we seen all that just the other day. When we got that G level 1 storm, we popped in there 2 or 3 different times. It got up to that level. G2, they call that moderate, right? What do we expect? Well, we expect to see 600 of those in an 11-year period. High latitude power systems may experience voltage alarms. Long duration storms may cause transformer damage at high latitudes. Corrective actions may be required for spacecraft orientation. They start having problems with satellites, okay? Long duration storms could actually cause transformer issues closer to the poles, right? High latitude power systems may experience voltage alarms. They got to go reset them, right? That kind of thing. Now again, at this point, it's still kind of just annoyance. It isn't really like horrible stuff. But watch how fast this ramps up. When you get a G2 and then we go to G3, this is what we see. Now we can expect to see this 200 times in 11 years. Alright, power systems may experience voltage alarms and require corrections. In other words, it jacked it up a little bit and they got to go work on it. Corrective actions may be required for spacecraft orientation. Again, they're trying to keep all the satellites in the air, right? They have to be able to communicate with them or they can't control it. Low frequency radio navigation problems may occur. What's that mean? Well, if you're controlling stuff with radio waves, navigation and stuff, low frequency stuff there, you're going to start having problems. And let's not forget that, ham radio operators, they start having issues with all kinds of stuff when we're getting, a lot of these types of situations. Now, with the geomagnetic storm, I believe that the ham radio operators really don't mind this. The GPS, it messes with GPS more than it does that. Now, when you're getting low geomagnetic activity, the first responders that use the ham radio operators, they actually start having communication issues because they actually need more geomagnetic activity from the sun. So it's a fine balance that we have to walk, and I've talked about that a lot. But anyway, so we go to a 4. G4, what do we got? 100 times in an 11-year cycle, right? Why 11 years? Well, that's a solar cycle, guys. Okay? The sun does a pole flip every 11 years, and that's what they consider a solar cycle. And I just got through explaining, how do they decide that? Well, it's by the amount of sunspots that are facing us. However many days, and, it correlates with where we're at in sun cycle. So anyway, power systems may experience widespread voltage control problems. Some systems will mistakenly trip out key assets from the grid, and spacecraft may experience surface charging and tracking problems. What's surface charging? It's exactly what it sounds like. You start getting all this, magnetic activity, and it's like if you take your shoes off and scoot your feet across the floor and go zap your family member in the nose with some static electricity. It's not the same thing, but it's close. Okay. In other words, whatever that's hitting, it starts to hold a charge. So it can discharge at any time, and it could cause key components of like satellites and spacecraft to short out. And if that happens, that could be really, really bad. So here we go to the biggest one, extreme. Okay. Again, if you guys see that right there, we expect a G5 storm approximately 4 times each 11 years. Now, I don't know that this number is saying that we should expect that to hit Earth, or if we can expect a G5 storm to come off of the sun in whatever direction. I'm not really sure on that one. I need to find that out, because that's information that I want to know, and you guys probably want to know that too. I could probably Google it. I'll probably do that tonight. Figure that out later. But anyway, it says power systems may experience widespread voltage control problems. Blackouts, guys, look, complete collapse or blackouts. Now, do you guys remember back in 1989 when the Quebec blackout happened from that solar storm? A big section in Canada, the power grid was gone. And it was directly related to the solar storm. Okay? So this is the stuff we can, again, guys, this is just like an EMP. It's exactly what it is. Spacecrafts may experience surface charging. Again, everything that a G4 does, the G5 is going to do plus, right? Satellite, get this, satellite navigation degraded for days. So if this thing goes across the satellite, remember, it does not have a magnetic field to protect it like the Earth does. It just has to take it. Now, then you got this. The pipeline currents can reach hundreds of amps. And how you can kind of relate what amps are, it's the power behind it. The electrons is what moves it, right? The amps is what's pushing it. That's how strong it is, okay? A lot of people, they get stuck on that volt, right? But if you're going to be talking about really putting a hurt to somebody, you're going to be talking about amps. It all matters, but that right there is one of the biggest things people misunderstand. So yeah, that's what you guys can expect during geomagnetic storms at each level. So you guys could Google this and get to the same information, or come back to this video if you guys want to know at some point again. But this is a new, I wanted to show you guys this because I show you guys the geoelectric grid here on the right. You see this? I show you guys this all the time. The geoelectric field map. But now they've got a new one here. Now this is experimental over here. This is more of a 3D empirical thing. Okay? Now you see the blue areas down here that are blocked out? That right there means that they haven't got the tools there yet to get the right data. So it's still experimental over here. And it's experimental in the way that they can't map the whole thing yet. Okay? That's what they're saying. So what they've done is they put it right next to the other one that we've been looking at. And so what you're going to see around the bigger cities, you're going to see a little bit more action because there's more artificial electrical components. That's why. It doesn't mean that the solar weather is hitting the bigger cities on purpose harder. It just means that there's more electricity there, guys. Okay? So check this out. So you're going to see they're going to pretty much mirror each other. But this 3D one is definitely going to be better. Now, you guys seeing that right there? That wasn't there earlier. You see that big blast of whatever happened there? That happened right around the time as those earthquakes started popping off. I'll try to stop it. See if I can't stop it on that. Okay. Now, what time do we have there? Let's look at it. Back it up a little bit. We are looking at 7 UTC. Okay? So I guess we could go compare that. That is about, well, that one was at 7 pretty much, but it happened before that. So yeah, so that ain't what caused it. That's something I would look at, but again, it ain't what caused it. It could have helped keep moving things around. But look, guys, there's something else here too that I want you guys to understand. You're looking at this, and we just had all those pop off, right? What caused all of them? Who knows? We can sit here and talk about that all night long, but see how fast it slowed down? Where did it all go? You know, maybe that's where all the energy went. This right here really kind of floors me, this one. The 6.6 right there, and then like 12 minutes later, roughly on the same kind of fault or plate boundary line, you get that one. I'm not sure, because that's awful fast moving, is all I'm saying. I would have expected to see that like hours later, not minutes. But you got these over here, you know, because it kind of started over here, guys. You know, that 5.9, I think, is what kicked it off. And it kind of worked its way over this way. And then Chile, and then here, and then here. Right? So we're looking at what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them that are, you know, 5.5 roughly or bigger, up to 6.6. Let's look at that again real quick. Yeah, so that's good, guys. There's nothing, nothing really happening damage-wise there. And it's out in the middle of the Atlantic, so really the only thing that we'd be concerned about there would be a, you know, tidal wave type of stuff. This one down here, well, that one there's kind of yellow. Let's see what we got there. There's your shake map. So when you look at that, you know, you can kind of see what's going on there. It's nothing really too bad, though. Most of it was offshore, it looks like. So, yeah. Okay. Let's, I want to show you guys this, and this will probably be the end of it. This right here is the stereo ahead, right? This is the one where me and Scott were showing you that object that popped on here. So I'm going to push start. We're going to watch this a little bit, okay? I'm going to speed this up. We're going to watch this thing go through a couple times. Okay? Now, you know, we were trying to figure out what in the world is that. I've never seen that on this tool before, ever. Scott hasn't either. It seemed as though it was connecting to Venus right there at one point. Scott put it through some of the filters and things and was able to see that. And but something else I'm noticing here that really has got me more, you know, this is just as important because this thing here is holding true, right? It's not going away. It's not like it was a blip and gone. But first thing I should say here, guys, don't be scared about this thing right here because we just don't know simply how far away from this satellite it is. Okay? So even though it looks like this is Earth right here, even though it looks like it might be coming right at us, doesn't mean that it is. So that's that's the first thing I want to say. It does seem to look like it might be traveling with the background stuff, but it also looks like it might be traveling just a touch different than the rest of it. But as we watch this, you know, what is that? Number one. Number two, I'm going to slow this down now. Now, if you guys remember about 2 weeks ago, I was showing you guys this stuff, right? And what you guys just seen there was a CME that just kind of blew off the sun. Remember, the sun's off to the left here. But what I want to show you guys on this is the fact that the Earth is illuminating It's like discharging. You see that right there? Now, at first I thought, well, that's got to be a tool flaw, right? That's got to be the camera is just getting bright for a minute, that kind of thing. So I looked at the other planets, and they were not flashing at all. Now, out here on the edge, it looked like around this camera edge that it might have got a little bit brighter too. But again, the other planets did not react at the same time that the Earth did there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in here a little bit more, and you're going to see exactly what I'm talking about. And you see that, how it kind of got bright right there? Look at that. See what it's doing? Look at that. So I don't know what's causing that. Again, are we seeing the Earth do a little bit of discharging? You know, because when the Earth is doing that over here, this over here, that's Mars. Okay? This is Venus over here. Neither one of those are doing anything at the same time. So, you know, I don't know what to think about that. It is an observation that we need to be paying attention to, because if that's actually what's going on, you know, whatever that means is what it means. We'll have to figure that out later, but it most certainly looks like the Earth is doing something there, because you can even see it get dark around the edges. Here, I'll even zoom in even more. So I really want you guys to see this, because it was something really strange to me. I didn't expect to see anything like this. See, watch this side of the Earth. Sorry about that, guys. I hit the stupid button. Anyway, yeah, right there. There you go. See that? You see how it got dark, too, around the edges after it did that? And none of the other planets are doing that at the same time. So, and if anybody's paying really, really close attention here, let me show you something real quick. You guys see this little arc right here? You guys remember the parachute bomber? If anybody ever remembers that, we were seeing something that looked like it looked like a triangle whatever going across the screen here, and it got out here and it looked like it was putting a parachute out. They called it the parachute bomber. But all it was is it's a product of the activity as far as the reflection from inside the camera at certain times. Venus really puts a lot of light on the situation sometimes, and that's what you're seeing right there. That's just a part of, that's kind of like, you can think of it like that right there is like the edge of the camera lens. You know, for a long time we all thought that was something really, really crazy, and it got explained away pretty quick, like when you actually got to see what it actually was. It made a whole lot of sense too. So, and believe me, yeah, when I seen that, I was like, there's no way that that's anything other than what we thought it might have been. Now, you guys see that on the Earth? Just look at the Earth doing that, guys. If anybody has any ideas on what's going on with that. Oh, what's the thing to the right of the Earth right there? That is, what do they call that thing? I forget what they called it. But it's aperture. That's what they called it. It's basically, it's part of the camera. It's out in front, and they're holding that. It's just part of the camera. And it's outside of the lens, so that's why you're able to see it in that point of view. You're seeing it kind of like be hazy and glowing around the edge here. That's just because of the material that it's made out of. It's kind of like a reflection. Now, you know, we've always questioned why that was there. We never got a really good answer why that was there. We've always wondered, you know, is there something hanging out on the other side? You know, that's always part of the conversation there. So, but again, that there, man, that just really blew my mind. sometimes we see things, man, that we just don't even. When we get surprised, nowadays, if I get surprised over something, it's few and far between. But when I do, it really kind of floors me. But you can tell, watch this object here. Watch when it starts to glitch out. You see how that object still kind of hung around? That adds a little bit more validity to that it's not just background noise. It's actually something there. This particular tool will always do that the last few images of its time lapse. Okay? So that, just know that. That's what you're seeing there. Okay? So yeah. Let's see here. I know I've got you guys here for a long time. I apologize. This here is that same, but Scott ran it through his software. Okay, see how it just brought that right up. I mean, you can see how. I mean, wow. And this here is its point of view. Okay, they showing you where the satellite's at and the view range of the camera. Scott did some really good work right here on this thing. You got that again. Okay, now this. Now, Scott sent me this yesterday. Early next week. You guys seeing this? This is what the weather forecast is. Now, what you're seeing there is an extreme dip in temperature. We're talking 65 degrees Fahrenheit difference in one day. So we've all been talking about all these, the jet streams, and we've watched these jet streams for years. Scott's, 20 plus years looking at that stuff. Mr. MBB3 the same. Lots of others, right? And now we're seeing the jet stream, which is our controlling weather pattern at higher levels, which pretty much controls the global weather patterns. It's split into like 3 or 4 different jet streams. When that happens, we just don't know. Our climate is definitely changing. The Earth is changing, I guess I should say. And something else I'll just point out here on my own here, the Gulf Stream. Okay, most of us know, we've all heard the song, The Gulf Stream Waters, right? The Redwood Forest, the Gulf Stream Waters. What they're talking about is, the Gulf of Mexico, but you got the Gulf Stream Waters actually come up around Florida, and it goes on up through here. Okay, off into, on up through around England and everything. And what happens is, because of the temperature change and salinity is the amount of salt that is in the water, and that matters because certain things freeze at different levels. So when we're talking about up here and it starts adding more water and more heat and more salinity to the whole system, this Gulf Stream starts getting all jacked up. And that Gulf Stream, because of the air temperature changing and everything else that it does cause in this area, if that Gulf Stream was to stop or slow down or go a different direction, you can count on the rest of your global climate to just go straight to hell. I don't know how else to say it, because that's exactly what it would be. Okay, it most certainly is. Yeah. Where's Blue Eyes at? What kind of question you got there, man or woman? Sorry. Why do you take William Siegel's post-person? Oh, what we got going on? We got people fighting. Oh, okay, guys. Just play nice, guys. Okay. Yeah, I didn't go back and read the whole thing or anything. I just seen some stuff there. Anyway, hopefully you guys can just disagree and be disagreeable and be okay. Guys, I want to talk about that for 2 seconds though too. That's fine with me. We get to better answers when we're challenging each other, as long as it's respectful. Okay? So try not to take things personally if it happens. In the comment section, those things have been off the chart awesome. I mean, you guys are really talking to each other, coming to some good conclusions and stuff. So keep it up. Hopefully with these live streams we can, hit some of that. So let me reset this one more time here. Now, I want to go over this real quick too while I got you here. I know this is going to be an extremely long live stream. I appreciate everybody hanging out. But what I want to show... Is it there? Okay. Cosmic rays. You guys hear me talk about that a lot. When our geomagnetic activity gets really, really low, cosmic rays are the issue, correct? So a cosmic ray, and it's really not rays, they're actually particles. Okay, like I said before. They used to think they were like electromagnetic rays. That's what they used to think, so they called them cosmic rays. But they figured out that they're actual particles. So when they hit us, and where do these things come from? They come from outside of our solar system, or even inside, okay? But when they hit our atmosphere. When they hit our atmosphere, they actually turn into a pion, and a pion splits into a neutrino and a muon. Now, this is just a little simple graphic I put together, right? The neutrinos, they'll go flying right through the planet. I mean, that's just what they do. The muons is usually what we're worried about as far as if it's going to cause us issues, as far as making us sick. Okay? So that's what you're looking at. That's why we pay attention to cosmic rays, because this is what happens. All right? When it hits our atmosphere, it turns into that pion. It has a half-life. And when it starts splitting like that, it splits in a certain time frame, and if it in the time frame that it's in, it allows it to get here. And so that's what's going on with that. If you want to know a little bit more technical aspect of what's actually happening with cosmic rays, but just think of it this way: you got the cosmic rays hits our shields, our atmosphere. It turns into a pion. I know that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? We've all used that word for other reasons. But then you got the neutrino and the muon, right? The muon is really what gives us issues. So just know that, okay? Now, they can look at the neutrino level, and they pretty much can tell you what the muon level is by knowing how many neutrinos we have, okay? There's ways to measure all that kind of stuff. Now, where did that go? Here it is. Now, I've shown this a couple times, I think, way back when. But this is radiation's effects on us, right? So, if you're getting these kinds of levels of radiation, this is what you can expect to, experience. So, with each level of cosmic ray events, you start seeing why they do what they do. A 3 MSV, that's like having a mammogram. These are all like really low stuff. Then it really steps up. So all this stuff up here that you're talking about, radiation effects, this can actually happen with cosmic rays if you're getting a lot of it. So just kind of know that. And I just wanted to show that to you real quick. Guys, take a screenshot of that if you want, and kind of keep it on your phone if you want to just kind of like check it out. You start hearing certain levels and things of cosmic rays, you might pull that out and look at it. Okay, here's that. What's that? Okay, now, so yeah, guys, let's see if we can't get another update on the earthquakes here. See if we got anything else to look at. You guys got any more questions? Holy Roller 420, huh? A lot of space weather, huh? Palm Diggs, what's up? You're welcome. Guys, I really try. I hope you guys understand that. I really do. I know I'm not perfect and I make mistakes, and I know not everybody's going to like me and all that, and I get it, okay? But just know that I do. I try to give my 100% to this. I don't really, I never intended to do any of this, just so everybody knows. never ever wanted to start a channel. You know, and the reason I started my channel to begin with was I was sending a lot of captures and a lot of information, a lot of stuff that I was finding over to Steve WSO and to Scott and to who else was I sending to? Not very many. I think it was Mr. MBB3 at the time. And the file size got so big that it was taking like forever to upload. So I decided just to start putting it in a video and then sending them a link to it because it was quicker. And that's how I started. That's how I got my channel started. It just never stopped after I did that. So, yeah. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it. I really do. I mean, you guys, seriously. And when I hear just stuff like that, and that's all it takes. It really keeps me motivated. That you guys actually appreciate it. You know. And I wish that the negativity and stuff that we see sometimes wasn't there. But let's just face it. It's going to be there. Always. It's just up to us to know how to deal with it. And I think for the most part, if we just don't address it, a lot of times it just seems to die out, because that's really when somebody's doing something negative like that on purpose. It's for the most part they're wanting the attention. Okay, I mean that's really what it ends up being. And, you know, either they feel like they just need to put it out there so they get some attention. Whether it's negative or positive, they don't care. They just want somebody to listen to them. And I feel sorry for people like that, because what made them actually have to feel like that in their life? You know what I mean? So that's why I don't really come at people a whole lot, because I know there's always a backstory that we just don't know. But I want to say this too. I will not put up with people attacking my subscribers or my friends. This is something I don't do. I won't do. Attacking another channel, even if I don't like them. You know, we're just not going to do that here. This is something that we try not to do. That's what I tried to do since the beginning, and I've been pretty successful at that so far. But you know, and for the most part, everybody's been awesome. There's just been those few, and that's all it takes. But enough of that. I know you guys don't want to hear that anymore, but I just want you guys to understand why I do what I do when it comes to all the negativity stuff that we have to deal with. That is why. You know, and I don't delete the comments for the mere fact that most of the time in 2 or 3 weeks, I can show the person that made that comment how wrong they were, because what we were talking about actually happens. And that's, you know, I don't know. I think you can get your point across a lot better if you're willing to do that, and you're willing to be wrong and admit when you're wrong. And that's one thing I've always been able to do. Matter of fact, if I'm wrong, I come out right away and correct it, because I don't want somebody else making the same mistake. And that's just what happens. You know, if I take a lot of crap for that, that's just what it is. But I'm not going to allow something that I know is wrong just to stay out there. I actually deleted probably about 8 or 10 videos of mine when I first started. I had to learn a lot of patience, guys. It's not about being the first one out there. Okay? It's just not. There's no reason to jump out there as fast as you can. When you do that, your only sole goal in that aspect is to get clicks. Okay? Because you don't have all the information. Now, if I'm looking, like, say, for instance, guys, you know what? I want to show you guys this anyway while I'm talking. How about that? I meant to show you guys Alaska, okay? Seeds, by the way, guys, seeds. Lasco C2 hasn't updated forever. It's been like 3 or 4 days again. So I don't know what's going on with that. But this will show you guys a lot of the CMEs too. What was I talking about? I'm getting tired. Goodness gracious. Yeah. What was I talking about? My gosh, somebody, yeah, somebody remind me. Oh my gosh. Oh, you know, Michael, nobody really, you know, I've gotten attacked before, guys. But you know, again, I honestly truly feel sorry for people that do that, because, how sad does their life have to be that they want to come attack somebody, number one, that they don't even know, number two, over something that none of us can prove 100% anything. So how do we figure out who's right and who's wrong? You know what I mean? Because I could be wrong about everything I'm saying right now, and I just don't know it. You see what I'm getting at, guys? So, I leave my mistakes out there for everybody to see, because if I make a mistake, everybody will learn from it. And I'm willing to do that. I don't have to be the first one out here. That's what I was talking about. People that jump out there like that is nothing more than just views. That's all they want. Either that or recognition. And when you show somebody something and they refuse to, when you showing them that, hey, listen, I used to think it was that too, but it's this, and they just completely go off on you. That's happened to me a couple times. I tried to help people. I really did. A couple people. And, I quit doing that and so actively because they didn't want to accept that they were wrong, even though I was showing them, hey, I made the same mistake. And I think that that's where one of the biggest problems we have in general in this whole world right now. Nobody is willing to be wrong. It's ridiculous. I don't want to be right all the time. You want to know why? Because that means I've stopped learning. The second you think you know everything is the second you stop learning. That very second. I tell my kids that all the time. And that's exactly how I feel. When I say something here on my channel, I don't just say it because it sounds whatever it's supposed to sound like or whatever. I say it because it's actually what I think, and that's how I feel about certain situations. And, I've been on this earth now for, I'm 45 years old, so, I ain't saying I'm got the most whatever experience, but I've been around. Guys, I've had over 30 surgeries. A lot of you guys probably don't know that. I've been put out almost 40 times in 6 years. So yeah. Guys, I mean, it is what it is, And so I deal with that and I keep moving. I try to do the best I can and stay positive. And, just to be honest with you guys, just to spill a little bit of personal stuff here a little bit because, I guess this is what I'm going to do. I actually went and seen my surgeon because I had a fall and I, jammed my back and my neck up pretty bad. I'm fused 6 in my neck and 2 in my lower back. And he pretty much told me that there's nothing that they can do but fuse me more. And if they fuse me any more in my head, I won't hardly even be able to look up or down or even to the side. I can still move my stuff. And, I can barely drink out of a can. I get it done. I mean, it doesn't look ridiculous yet. But if he fuses me one more vertebrae, those days are over. And, I'm 45, guys. I live in pain every day. And I do that because I can't do opiates. So, that is what it is too. I'm not going to go too much more into that, but that's where, guys, I struggle just like everybody else. And I know a lot of people, I try not to bring it here, this part of it. But during the live stream and stuff, I feel like I can share a little bit more like that. But I'm not going to bring that negativity all the time. I want this to be a positive experience. But I want you guys to understand how much we actually do try and care. And you can tell who's actually doing it. Who's actually trying to do it the right way. It's not hard to see. Not hard to see at all. So, yeah. And for people that don't, if you're just listening here just now, the same things are going to apply here in the chat. With the, like with the comment rules and stuff. Just please don't get rude and vulgar with anybody. Please don't attack each other, and don't attack another channel, please. Even though I might agree or not agree, it doesn't matter. I just don't want to attack another channel because they're not here to defend themselves. You know, the way I look at it, if I gotta say something to somebody else, I'm gonna go say it to them. I don't really want to, you know, put that in a chat box or a comment section somewhere and let them see it third party, and then, you know, they don't even have a chance to defend themselves. If I feel that strong enough that I'm going to say something on the internet about it, I'm going to go say it to them, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that they deserve that respect, even if I don't like those people. The people that are being talked about or whoever. I'm not seeing any of that right here. At least I didn't, unless it was there. I don't know. But yeah, but that's just how I want to do the comment section in the chat. You know, any of my moderators, I'll probably start adding a couple more if anybody is wanting to do it. Just shoot me an email or whatever, and please don't be offended if I'm not able to give everybody that wants a wrench a wrench. You know. I don't want to, you know, at first it's just going to be a couple, I would think. You know, I got Scott and Seven right now. And then, you know, as I'm doing more and more live streams and more, you know, I feel like I know quite a few of you already pretty good. So, I would feel comfortable giving a couple of you guys that I already know and I've talked to before via email and stuff a wrench. But if you want to do something like that, just, you know, shoot me an email and we'll see what we can do about getting you a wrench. So. But yeah, guys, yeah, so we'll look at this last go and then we'll end this stream, okay? We got back to the third, and if you watch over here, you're going to see some ejections and then you're going to see some over here, okay? And they just keep coming one right after the other. So there's the first one there on the left. See that pop off right there? And then another one come right behind it, okay? And some people would consider that one. Others would consider that two. I just consider it action. So, anyway, you can see off to the right. See that? If you look real close, guys, you can kind of see a little difference in color. And this is why we like to go over the seeds and use that one. Because you get the black and white difference view. And there's a contrast there enough that we get to see more. And with this red view, we just don't get that. So, I guess I could take this and put it into like a filter or whatever, but it's still not going to be the same. The way that those are filtered out. They've done that for a reason so they can see certain things. But you can see that. Now see this one here. Watch right here, guys, because this is actually the biggest one that blew off. And it's the one that the CME tracker is showing right now. See that? Now, that didn't come at us. Now, can you guys see how that looks like it's going straight to the right? It's not. It's actually going that way. This is what I mean about point of view really matters. Okay? You have to know the perspective and what you're looking at and what point your start point is to see the way that it does do what it does. So, yeah. And that's the other thing too, guys, and I've talked about this quite a few times myself. You know, you got the parallax effect. You got to say something is the size of a golf ball in the middle. It'll look like the size of a pea on the side when you're looking at a sphere. So we have to always take that in consideration when we're talking about size. And that's one of the biggest things we fight. Because when we're trying to explain things to people and we're trying to understand it ourselves, we simply do not have any distance at all. We don't know how far something is from these satellites when we see them. Unless it's a known object. Any object that is not known and we see it on the satellite, it's almost impossible to give you guys a size on it. Because we don't know how far away from the satellite it is. If we knew that, we could triangulate and give you guys an exact size. But we can't. We can't know that. It's impossible. You'd have to physically see it there. Or find some other way to triangulate it and figure it out. But there's some math that could be done there. But you still have to have a certain amount of data points so you could do the math. And we just don't have those. Because we don't know exactly how far it is away from the satellite. But anyway, guys. Okay, you guys got any questions? I'll hang around here for a few minutes here, and we'll see what we can do. If I can answer you guys' questions. Actually, you know what? What I will do, let's, where's my, that? Yeah, here we go. We'll just put the live chat up there. So pop out chat. Let's get this thing over here. Let's just make that thing big. By the way, the live streams here, guys, they will be getting a little bit better as far as the graphics and stuff. I'll get this all hammered down. You ain't got no wrench, 7? What the heck? Really? What? I'll fix that when I get offline, brother. Sorry. I don't know what the heck, man. You and Scott's the only one I got. What gases are put out during CME or objects close? That was from Warrior for Almighty. You know, that's actually that's a very good question. It depends on what you're looking at and what we're doing. You know, the gases themselves, it's probably all of them off of the, because when you're looking at this, guys, you got to understand that it's actual plasma. It used to be thought there was only 3 states of matter. You know, solid, liquid, gas. Well, now they have plasma. And that's what we're seeing come off the sun. Plasma is basically just a distorted version of gas. Okay? It's charged. Basically, that's the difference. It's charged gas, pretty much. So that's what you're going to see. So whatever is attracted to whatever polarity you got there is the gases that you're going to see. And that's what you can expect with any CME or whatever like that. You know, the sun's made up of quite a few different things. I'm not going to go into all the stuff that it's made of. Frankly, I don't know every element that it is there. But what's it say here? So, do you think Earth will be hit by plasma arcs? If we get hit with a plasma arc from the sun, oh man, that'd probably have to be a pretty powerful thing. You know, that is what it is. But, you know, if that does happen, I think we're probably going to see a whole lot of other things happen before that. You know, unless it's a one-time event or whatever. And if it's a one-time event, then we probably won't even have to worry about having the discussion anymore. I know it sounds horrible, but that's, guys, that's really where it's at. I don't know. You brought truth and I blocked you. I don't block people, man. You talking to me? You talking to somebody else? Huh. You're in here now? How'd you get in here now? I don't know. I don't know what you're talking about, William. But yeah. As long as it's all cordial and it's not all vulgar, like I said, you can throw whatever you want to at me. My skin is thick, thick, thick. One day soon you will hear me. Oh, okay. I blocked him. Oh, okay. Warrior for the... Oh, well, on your channel? Okay, I got you. Yeah, I don't know, guys. So, yeah. But please, guys, just play nice, man. Let's just, you know what I mean? I get it. I do. I really do. And this is what I was saying earlier, guys. This, you know, yeah, Brian, that is 100%. All of us are not going to agree all the time, and that's just what it is, you know. And I think that if all of us can kind of understand that we're not always right, maybe we'll be a little bit more accepting to, you know, some of the other stuff that we didn't think was actually possible that might actually be. You know, and it's like I said yesterday, and I know I kind of zipped through all that pretty quick, but I truly believe that if you're searching for the truth, you have to be open-minded. That is the main characteristic. If you're not open-minded, and I don't mean just open-minded to new stuff, I mean open-minded to the old stuff that might actually still be true. It's going to be a combination of everything. It just is. But, you know, it's up to us to try to figure out what that is. And, you know, are we going to get it 100% right? No, we're not. We are not going to get it 100% right. You know, I said this before too. You know, we all this have some of the truth, right? Or some of the right answers, but none of us have all of them. So if we're able to at least accept the fact that we can be wrong, at least maybe we'll at least do some research, even if we still don't agree at the end of that research. At least we've done that, and we've, you know, satisfied our own curiosity onto what something is. And I think that's important, because once you think you understand something, you can move on to the next thing. And it allows you to get, you know, gain more knowledge that way. But yeah, you know. Did you see the message? Which one? Think rice experiment. Water has memory. CIA monk experiment. Do a search. You will understand. I'll check it out. Most definitely. Always do, guys. Almost everything you guys have ever asked me to check out, I do. I can't check out all of it. There's no way. It'd be just way too much for one person. But I will. I'll check that out. Sounds interesting. But yeah. Potassium citrate. When is the next close asteroid? Okay. You want to know that? I'll tell you what. We'll go over to space weather real quick, guys, if you guys want to do that for a second. If you guys want to keep going with this, we can for a minute. I ain't got nothing to do. This is spaceweather.com, guys. I would encourage everybody to go over here and check this out daily. I do, okay? This is one of those things where you can check this out, and you know, you're asking about sun cycle and stuff like that. It has it over here every day. See this? So what you're looking at there is the sun cycle. Now these two numbers right here, in my opinion, are probably the two most important, because this is telling us how fast we're ramping up. Right now it's about an 8% increase if it was to end today. If the year was to end today, we would have an 8% increase in activity on the sun from last year, 2019, to this year, 2020. If you correspond those 2 years and go back to the last solar cycle right here, it was 73% to 71, which means that's only a 2% increase. So we're ticking up faster right now. Now we could come back in pretty close to that if we just drop back off in activity altogether again. Okay? And we have for 16 days. This was actually up to 10% until that happened. So, you know, anyway, no, look what they're talking about here, guys. What I just talked about. Oops, let me back that up. Solar minimum conditions are in effect. They're talking about cosmic rays. Solar minimum conditions are in effect. Aurora alerts, all that kind of stuff. A lunar occultation. I think what happened was the moon went in front of Mars or something like that, I think. Is that what that says? Last night? Yep. The moon passed directly in front of Mars, producing a lunar occultation. That would probably be that kind of, see that little crazy looking there on the bottom? That's Mars. So Mars kind of popped out there. So, and again, guys, you guys can learn a lot about space phenomena over here at this channel. Okay, it's not a channel, actually, it's a website. Now, if you go over here, you can actually go to the archives. You see this up here? And I'll go back to the fourth, because I already showed you guys the fourth. Watch what happens here. See? That's that cosmic rain. Geomagnetic rain, I mean. That's right there is what happened when the geomagnetic field took a crack and that solar weather came in. And believe me, like I said before, the geomagnetic field is cracked in a whole lot of different places, and people don't understand how that could be and us still be here. Well, that's the way that it is, guys. You know, again, UVC is now hitting the planet, so something's changing, right? The South Atlantic anomaly has split. It's getting bigger. They can't even navigate down there, guys. If you guys don't know that, I mean, they have navigation issues because the magnetics down there are so jacked up in certain areas that it doesn't know where magnetic north is. You take a compass down there in certain situations, it's going to just spin in circles. But yeah, this is something cool here too. I seen this the other day. The mysteries of Magnetosphere, or whatever that is. I think I talked about this a little bit yesterday. Let me go back to the current day here, guys, and we'll check out the asteroids real quick. So if you guys go over here to spaceweather.com, guys, and just go scroll down, you'll go on down. See this right here? This is the orbital position and the paths of the known asteroids. Okay, and you're going to notice that a lot of these are the Earth is actually the center. They're actually going around that way on some of these. Okay, these are near NEAs is what they call them, near Earth asteroids. NEOs they also call them, near Earth objects, depending on if they know if it's an asteroid or not. But y'all remember back on September 1st, that one came really close. Now I'm going to say this too, guys. You know, 0.3 lunar distance, yes, that's close, but yes, it's also pretty far away. Okay? You know, we had the one that zipped by that broke a record that they didn't even see it. It came closer to us than any other asteroid has ever in, you know, recordable history here, without actually entering into our atmosphere and crashing to the ground. And we didn't even see it. At least they told us they didn't see it until 6 hours later, when it was already past us. Now I know that can happen. Now I also want to say this too. I do try to take up for people that are doing this kind of work, because let's face it, like Billy Bob Thornton said it in the movie Armageddon, when he was talking to the president during all that. He said, "Begging your pardon, Mr. President, it's a big-ass sky." And that's exactly what this is, guys. I mean, there's no way we can see the whole thing and see everything all the time. It's just impossible. So, yeah. So, if you're talking about, you know, like a 0.3 lunar distance, that's inside the distance from us to the moon. A really good amount. So yeah, so you're looking at that now. I know a lot of people they will they'll look at this and they'll say, well, that's 14 or whatever. 14 that's way out there, guys. But what I want to show you guys, and they're calling that near Earth. Okay, so what they're doing is they're using the vastness of space as a baseline. Okay, they're using these in astronomical terms. They're not really relative to what we actually think, if that makes any sense. You know, something that, you know, like I said, a near-Earth object that is, 16.4 lunar distances? You'd have to go to the moon 16.4 times. That's how far away that thing was. But they're calling that near us. Okay? So what I want people to understand, though, is when these things are way out, and they see them way out, it only takes just a slight mathematical error or just the wrong little piece of data that can cause these trajectories to change in a massive way. And sometimes that can bring it closer, and sometimes it'll pull it farther apart. But, you know, that's what we have to deal with. And I showed you guys this too. This is kind of an odd little time frame here, because if you look here where it says the asteroids, it always gives you, like here it's going to tell you the date when it's going to be here, closest to us. But over here, they always precursor the names of these things with the year that it was discovered. Now, you're going to see 2020 on here more than you're going to see any other day, any other year. And usually, this is about probably 3/4 of the way filled up with 2020. So what that tells us is that our technology is way better. We're looking at a lot more of the sky, and we're seeing more of it. It doesn't necessarily mean that we have more asteroids hanging around, which that could be the truth. Okay, I know that we are coming into some, more active areas and more debris-filled areas of space, but some of the uptick that we do see is because of our technology is better, and they're putting more money towards it, and they're looking at more of the sky. So that's why sometimes these things, the number looks like they jump really, really big from year to year, and it might not be as big of a jump as what we actually think, because simply our technology got better. But usually, again, when you look over here, you're going to see a lot of 2020 or 2019. So this one here was discovered 2020. I mean, it's amazing sometimes. It just blows my mind. But the next, if you're asking when the next, because that was the question, the closest one we're going to see until, my gosh. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't look like we're going to see anything close until November 2nd. Well, yeah, hey, that makes sense, doesn't it? You guys know what I'm talking about. That's when we get to select our new leader, right? About 2 days before that, right? 2 days after that, anyway. I'm not even going to go into that discussion. But yeah, so that's what's going on with the asteroids. But yeah. Okay, guys. I do think that I am going to let this one be over. I'm not sure. Like I said, guys, I might, I'm still probably going to do the edited videos. Okay. I won't be able to live stream every night or every day. But I will try to do this more often, especially as I get better at, the graphics and stuff here. And, I've also been asked, guys, and I will address this too, because this all applies to what I'm doing right now. When I golfed as a kid, I was on the golf team, and my coach would tell me, if you want to golf good, you got to dress like a good golfer. And I was like, man, that's crazy. And then, you know what he says to me? He says, well, go put on some cut-off Daisy Dukes and a flannel shirt and some flip-flops and go shoot par, and then come talk to me. And it made perfect sense after he said that to me. So what I'm saying is that, on my channel here, if it looks like, it doesn't look like it's, like, I don't know how to put this. I guess, if I look at myself, if I'm going around looking at other channels and looking at just surfing YouTube or whatever, if I come across something that I can't, I can't even, like, hear what they're saying, I can't see what they're showing, I can't, understand what they're actually, any of that kind of stuff, if it's, like, really, really bad. Now, I'm not talking about somebody that is trying to do their best by, maybe filming with a phone or something on a screen, but you can still see what they're saying, right? You can see what you can still, you don't have to struggle to see what they're showing you. That's okay, because all of us have to start out somewhere, right? And what I'm saying is that as I've gotten into this more and more, I've understood that people want, at some level, they want at least a little bit of entertainment value. And that comes from the production value that people can give you, especially when we're talking about this kind of a subject, because there's really no, like, extreme entertainment from this. This is a knowledge type of situation, research. So if we can make it look good to our eyes, people will tend to stick around and at least listen to what you got to say. And that's what I'm trying to say, guys. That's all I mean by that. I look at myself. Like I said, if I go through somebody's channel, I might stop a couple different times and check them out. But if it doesn't like draw me in or keep me there with that kind of stuff, I find myself going other places. And that's why I try to keep this thing kind of fresh, with the intros and all that kind of stuff. And there's ways to do it where it doesn't really cost you a whole lot of money. I give credit to AAVFX. That's a YouTube channel in every video of mine. He has a YouTube channel, guys. You guys should really go check that out, because what it is like 4K and 8K graphics that he lets you use for free, as long as you give him credit in your and leave a link in your videos. That's it. That's all he wants. And I'm telling you, you guys go check out that YouTube channel. You're going to see some cool graphics there. So what I do is I take multiple ones from his channel, because he's got thousands of them. Okay? And I'll put it into my photo editing stuff and my video maker and all that kind of thing. And that's how I put together my my intros and stuff like that. Now I know they're 44 seconds long or 45 seconds long. I do that for one reason. Let me tell you why. That song that I use, the music, which I love that song. A lot of people like it anyway too. Some people, if you don't like it, just fast forward through it or whatever. It ain't gonna offend me. And I understand that 44 seconds for an intro is kind of on the longer side. I get it. But I do that because if I was to stop it before or after that, I tried to find even sections in the middle of that song where it would sound right, and it never would work out. So I've got it to where it's 44 seconds, and that's exactly where that's the minimum I could get it to with it sounding normal. So, but yeah, guys. Let's see here. One more look at the earthquakes here. Looks like we had another one right there in the middle of the country. Where was that at? Colorado? Yeah. There's a Colorado earthquake, guys. Wow. You don't see that very often. Huh. Again, all those earthquakes popping off right there at the same time. Ain't that nuts? I just when I got on here and I was just getting ready for this live stream, that started happening right when I was getting ready to go live, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But, okay, guys, I think I am going to cut this off. I am kind of, yeah. Yeah, guys, you said something about I seen Facebook group, not necessarily mine. I am going to start spending a little bit more time in there. I haven't been doing that. I've just been just doing other stuff, guys, and I ain't trying to make excuses or anything. That's just me being honest. But I will be, spend a little bit more time in there, because it is a good way for all of us to kind of communicate pretty much immediately. Scott's in there with me, so 7. If you guys got any questions or problems over there on Facebook in my Facebook group, and it's just simply Wages World, okay? Scott has one too. Planet X News Facebook group. They're really easy to find. So yeah, go check it out. There's a lot of good information in there, in the groups, guys. Now, granted, we get some issues in there sometimes, but you're always going to have that with social media. So again, I don't really erase things unless it's attacking somebody else. You attack me all you want, that's fine, as long as it's not vulgar. I'll leave it there. Matter of fact, go look at some of the comments from my last videos. I got beat up a couple days ago in the comment section, but I do. I just Jerry, you're talking make your super chat available. I have never monetized my channel, Jerry. By the way, guys, thank you so much. Did you guys see my sub count? I broke 40,000 today. That is awesome. I just can't even believe that there's 40,000 people out there that even care about what I say. I get so humbled all the time with that, guys. It is most, yeah. As far as the super chat thing there, guys, like I said, I don't monetize. I've never really, I don't want to make people watch ads, number one. I have kicked around the idea of starting a Patreon. That way, if people wanted to support, they could. It would always be something that wasn't like, please help me, that kind of thing. It would be just if you wanted to. So, I've had a lot of people ask about that, and I appreciate that. I really do. And God knows I could could use it just like everybody else. Okay? And that's kind of where I'm at with it, Again, this isn't my job, but I do put a lot of time into it. And usually the time I spend, guys, it comes from my sleep. You see what time I'm doing this? It's 5:40 in the morning. I've been up all night doing this. And what'll happen is I'll go sleep for a couple hours and I'll get up with my family. And that's what I do. I won't take time from my family for this thing. I just won't do it. It's not that I don't care or anything like that. It's just I think everybody should put their family right there. That's where it needs to be. If it's not, then you might need to reevaluate. So, all right, guys. Again, thank you guys so much for sticking around. I broke that 40,000K mark, man. I can't believe it. One of my goals, guys, is that I want to get up be one of the very few YouTubers that gets up over 100,000 that doesn't monetize. Then, yeah, that's a badge I would wear. That's for sure. So, all right, guys. God bless. Seven, I'll hook you back up with that wrench here in a minute, man. I'm sorry about that. I thought I had you on there. Matter of fact, I was looking for you yesterday, and because I was hoping to have somebody in here my first couple times. That way, in case there were some issues. But thanks for sticking around, guys, and God bless. Yeshua saves, and yeah. I hope you still like the Kool-Aid.